once you have the ability to sell, once you have the ability to lead, you become an operator. By the way, there are only 700,000 businesses in the United States that are at this level. So you've figured out your product, you've figured out how to be motivated, you've got through the curious seeker stage, you've got to the next stage where you start and you figure out your minimum viable product and you have that identity. Now you need to make this next shift into promoter. And lots of business owners get here. Around about 6 million businesses get into this stage and don't get past it. And in this place, it's about growing your leads, your list, your database, and the typical income, somewhere 100 to 300,000, okay? This is where marketing strategy comes in, lead generation, building demand. And this stage is really fascinating to me because many businesses think this is their problem. And they get stuck here and they never graduate to the next place. What I want you to understand, so the curious seeker who's out there coming up with ideas, well, then they have to become a starter and just start selling one thing. And typically they want to go back and come up with more different ideas, but they don't need to do that anymore. Once they've figured out how to sell one thing, they need to move to marketing. But do you know what happens? Is typically they stay starter, thinking they don't know how to sell and coming up with different products. Then you come into promoter where you start to build a database and you get up to around about 300,000. Now, if you notice, another thing that's curious to me is each one of these shifts is about a 3x multiple in what it is that you're earning. The next stage is where most people fall over. Okay, this is where you become the architect or the builder. This is where you want to build systems, infrastructure that works without you. So when it comes to time, this is the overtime stage, right? So think about this. You went from part-time as a seeker, you shifted into maybe full-time, maybe, then you went to overtime. When you're the builder, it's like double overtime. This was the worst place for me. And I got to this place multiple times in my business career. It sucks. I tell you, it sucks because at this stage, not only have you got to understand and lead the marketing, not only have you got to do the sales, not only have you got to deliver the product, and now you're asked to build systems and infrastructure that works beyond you. What's really frustrating at this stage, and let me know if you're at this place, is you're making more money top line, but you're keeping less. You're keeping less money yourself because at this stage, you're spending on tech and tool and teams and Meta and Instagram and Reels and all of these other things you got to do. You're so busy, but you're actually getting less. And a lot of people don't lean in and get through this stage. They step back, they pull back. And so if you're at that stage and you got to be building the systems and it feels like on one hand, you're building the systems and then on the other hand, you're making sales. And then on the other hand, you don't have a third hand, but on the other hand, you're out there and you're delivering and leading and things. It's okay. Don't ask for your problems to be smaller, just ask to be better. Because on the other side of this, is when you get to shift past that glorious $1 million mark. And the first time you do it, you'll celebrate. I remember the very first time I did $1 million in a year, and I was just so beyond, I don't even know the emotion. I remember crying in my hotel room, actually, that I'd done it. It was such a big thing. So you'll get through that with systems. This next place goes so fast. I do not remember hitting 1, 1.5, 2, or 3, because this next place, once you have the systems, once you have the ability to sell, once you have the ability to lead, you become an operator. This level is where you get to lead with leverage. This is where you get to start actually hiring talent. Because once you're over 1 million, somewhere between 1 and 3 million, which is this level, and by the way, there are only 700,000 businesses in the United States that are at this level. So at this level, you're making between 1 and 3 million. You can start hiring talented people. I remember the first time I asked my business coach, I said, what do I need to do, now that I'm at this next level? He said, you need to operate, and he said, you need to hire a COO. And I was like, a coup? A what? What's a COO? He goes, you need a COO, a CTO, a CMO. And I just thought, an EIEIO, like, what are all these things that I need to have? He said, at this stage, Chris, and I said, well, how much do one of those cost? And he goes, 250 grand. I was like, what? I'm not even paying myself that. But at this level, you get to hire really talented people who don't want to be entrepreneurs, who want to work inside of your vision, and you can really start to gain wealth. Wealth in this stage, this is the most fun stage for me in business. Like, this is so cool, so fun. And a lot of people deny themselves reaching this level, but it's not the end, by the way. There's still a lot more to come. But I love this level because it's like you have a dashboard and you're getting to employ capital, a team, and ideas to do things for you. And it's funny, you become quite competently incompetent. Like, you forget how to do a lot of stuff. It's quite hilarious because you have so many people that are able to do things for you. So I loved this stage. But if you're like me, you're going to get to the stage, you're going to want more. Make a couple $1 million a year is great, but that's the operator stage. And the focus is on operating and leading and building the right team to lead the system, to lead the marketing, to lead the sales, to lead the product. So that was just a small part of a big conversation we had. If you'd like to get the full episode, click this link right here and you can get it right away.